Welcome everyone to another adventure into reality. Now, we're going to get to the good stuff. The most important thing you can learn on your sacred pilgrimage and journey is to stop hoping for outcomes you cannot control. As long as you're creating hope in the ancient future, you aren't being here, present in the now. You aren't a part of the ancient present. You are playing in the future where hope is. Hope springs eternal and helps us to go through creation. But there are times when hope becomes toxic. And in the journey, you must be in the ever-present moment of now, allowing hindsight and foresight, which are a different form of experience than hope. When you make the individual choice to stop controlling outcomes and allowing the divine forces of yourself to work through you, the great, incredible, and mystical things happen in your daily life. Living the mystical life daily is a way of life, a set of actions that are part of your spiritual agenda. And your spiritual agenda does not use hope as the only process of creating in the future. Hope is just one thing our human minds stick to. Hope eventually, inevitably becomes subtle control of the future. And when you are in subtle control of the future and not in equal co-creation with the moment of now, you never really truly understand how to move forward. You'll be stuck in the instant gratification of creating hope, just like buying a lottery ticket, thinking that you're going to win. And all that energy was wasted in the numbers, wasted in the vision that you might win. By making the active choice of the mighty I Am present to eliminate hope from controlling your future, you allow yourself full control of the ancient present, access to the no-time process, and your genius ability within to activate and co-create with the divine spirit of all. Each of us goes through this process, and this is known as creating the divine peace of the sovereign I Am self. Many of you ask me, why do we need to create this peace? Isn't the whole process of awakening bringing yourself back together? The answer is yes. But after a while of bringing yourself together, and you want to make this process easier for yourself, you want to be able to give tasks, programs, things that make this easier. Programs that are in our sympathetic and our parasympathetic were never meant to function the way they are now. Shame, blame, and guilt, depression, regression, obsession, OCD, and all those other archetypical processes that take away from the sovereign self. When the sovereign I Am has done enough healing on shame, blame, and guilt, depression, regression, obsession, and has gotten over the levels of instant gratification and learned that healing is a process and not an event, you want to create an easier way to interact with time and no time. There, as we make the eternal, internal choice from the pilgrimage into the sacred mountain of the inner self, where we go into the mountain of our heart and discover the sacrednesses within the tunnels that are there. The tunnels of our heart that are actually our veins and arteries going through the wholeness of our body. There's the first journey into creating that first sovereign peace, to discover what the body needs in its individual level, to make it closer than just sympathetic and parasympathetic, just voluntary or involuntary operating systems. When we bring the body as part of our co-creation, we create a piece of our sovereign self that functions for the body, that works with our healers in the spirit world. That first step is to throw yourself the lifeline, to create your own version of a healing self that has all the skills of the Akashic Record, all the skills of every being you've ever been before as a healer, available to you as a guide in no time, in your sacred protected place, so that when you begin your journey, you do not step on the journeys of others out of ignorance. And you must have that process within you. So if you should need others in your spirit journey, then you know who to call upon because you've done the inner discerning work. By not stepping on another's journey in your own journey process, you will learn why you need to plan and why you need to begin to understand what these different sovereign pieces do. The very first piece assists you on the journey by creating the sovereign healer self, that's constantly ever-present moment of no time, waiting for you to call upon it to give you your sacred journey wisdom, your sacred journey nectar of healing, the inspiration to go and do. The next part is discovering what your pilgrimage truly is going to mean to you. You've created that first healer's piece. You're going to go to a sacred space and have sacred time with that place. And to do that, you must pilgrimage. You must use the sacred healer piece within yourself to look at a journey, to predict the journey's most obvious moments. And when you get into your car, when you get into the airplane, when you get to your first place, there, you know those obvious moments are coming. There is where you focus as your ancient present self on the potential future. Where you have your first sleep, your first awakening, all of those are moments in which the sacred healer and the sacred ever-present moment sends healing energy to a sacred future when you are on your pilgrimage and journey. This is known as passing on the legacy of the self, passing on that healer within to the healer of the future who shall need more of yourself in the expression. By making the choice and understanding that there is a progression in creation that starts long before the journey, this is where the journey and the process becomes easier. Multidimensionality living is easier to understand as efficiency becomes a process of the I am self. And the journey has new beginnings and new endings. For the journey of 1,000 steps begins with one, and the journey of 10,000 steps has many thousands of spiritual steps taken before the actual first physical step. That is the preparation we take to enhance our endurance. When you make that choice, you will truly discover the power within and why we must again learn to do sacred pilgrimages to sacred places for our own sacred internal purposes of creating and co-creating with ourselves. Now you must solidify your wisdom in the action of the I am now, who acknowledge the densities of these world that they are in, knowing that the density of this world is changing as we get closer to the galactic central sun plane. And as the compression process of all that was goes into all that will be, here is solidifying your wisdom. You take the power of manifesting your sovereign boundaries through contract revocation. In this moment of your meditative wisdom, you summon every contract revocation you have ever done and make it a part of your boundaries. This is an alchemy process, taking the solidity of your wisdom and making it a part of your boundary system. The manifestation of your sovereign boundaries leads to creating within. Once you have those boundaries and you are in that perfect state of protection, what do you do with it? With those solid boundaries you create within, there is where you create with the divine. There is where you co-create with all sources that are in yourself in non-competition. So at this moment in meditation, all of those beings in non-competition begin to assist you with the divine co-creation process. You can transmute the old into new forms of creation, inspiration, and dreams. When you make that I am choice of the now to do that and manifesting those sovereign boundaries, you give yourself the spiritual space to acknowledge you can. By making the choice to do it, you get to transform your life process into a series of steps, processes that lead us and you and all versions of you on the sacred journey. For co-creating within yourself is your synchronistic process. You, in the mighty moment of now, have so many choices. The first group of choices that you want to look at is, what are you manifesting in your sovereign boundaries? Here's where we can perform spiritual surgery on ourselves, where you can learn about old habit patterns that make you lazy or encumbered with thoughts of others. This is where we have the power to say, I choose. And by removing our signature frequency of being so we are no longer a match for that subject. By actually saying, in the out loud, name it to claim it format, I am no longer a match for that subject matter that constantly creates a cyclical habit pattern of self-destruction, self-disease creation, or any other form of creationary energy with zealots, martyrship, or that leads me away from my divine co-creative inner transforming self, so I may take it step by step. So the process of life doesn't become a series of instant gratified healing moments, but the infinity of our soul learning from the great experience of the I am in the now. Your sacred journey is yours. These are but suggestions to do in your powerful moments, taking the teaching of this and applying it to your knowingness in the future time, where you know you can draw upon the wisdom because you have felt its authentic source from your own soul, frequency, planning your own spiritual agenda. There are many ways to go about doing this. You all know that you have more than you've heard, read, or studied. You've heard me say that 1,000 times. What does it take for you to solidify in your consciousness of the I am now, your greatness, your legacies, and the mantle of responsibility you pass upon yourself? Thank you, everyone. This has been a powerful opening speech. We're now going to take our first caller. Perth, Western Australia. Are you there?
Hello, Andrew.
Hi, what is your name?
My name's Melissa.
Hi, Melissa. How you doing today?
I'm great, Andrew. Pretty excited to be on today. Thank you.
Well, you made it. So what kind of questions do you want to ask today?
Well, firstly, I want to say thanks for putting this show on. It's just awesome what you do. The first thing is I have a terrible fear of speaking, and it takes over my whole body, and it stops me from doing a lot of things that I would like to do.
Okay. Can you give me a little more description how it takes over your body?
Okay. I can't breathe. My heart is pounding. I start to tremble, and
that's going out in public. Is that before you go out in public?
No, that's like right now, having to speak. And
is that in any?
I had to.
Is that with any scenario, any person, not just a group of people?
It's not my immediate family, but it's in anticipation of speaking to a group of people, like in a social setting.
Okay.
So I pretty much avoid social situations where I would have to speak. It's just really
okay. What year were you born?
Possible. 1969.
Okay, when you were young and growing up, did you have like a grandmother or a grandfather that kind of was around you? Maybe passed by the time you were... Go ahead.
They all died before I was about 1 year old.
Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is have it do a repeat after me process, and we're going to try to uncover where this hermit energy is coming from, because it's a projected at you, but it's also accepted from within internal. So at some point, either in a past life or the present life, there was a portal that was open that's suppressing your process.
Okay.
So just repeat after me. I, in this ever-present moment,
I, in this ever-present moment,
choose to acknowledge my mighty I am presence.
Choose to acknowledge my mighty I am presence.
To uncover and reveal.
To uncover and reveal.
Why I have issues.
Why I have issues.
Speaking normally.
Speaking normally.
With people outside of my family.
With people outside of my family.
I have made a sovereign choice.
I have made a sovereign choice.
To call into this show.
To call into this show.
To challenge myself.
To challenge myself.
To hear my own voice.
to hear my own voice,
to heal my own traumas,
to heal my own traumas,
so I may expand and explore
so I may expand and explore
who I am,
who I am,
what I am,
what I am,
and how I dream this dream.
and how I dream this dream.
Within this power of now,
In this power of now,
I bring forth all sympathetic programs
I bring forth all sympathetic programs
and observe the webbing
and observe the webbing
that connects to this parasympathetic.
that connects to the parasympathetic.
I sever the connection between sympathetic and parasympathetic
I sever the connection between sympathetic and parasympathetic
that allows bleed over of empathic information,
that allows bleed over of empathic information.
for I have been overwhelmed
For I have been overwhelmed
by the energy and emotions of others,
by the energy and emotions of others,
even before I am in their presence.
even before I am in their presence.
The parasympathetic
Parasympathetic
has created a program of false precognition
has created a program of false precognition.
The sympathetic
The sympathetic
has created a program
has created a program
that feeds the parasympathetic.
that feeds the parasympathetic.
Empathic information,
Empathic information
overwhelming my sympathetic presence.
overwhelming my sympathetic presence.
I end this sympathetic and parasympathetic program.
I end this sympathetic and parasympathetic program.
I reduce them to 0 minus infinity.
I reduce them to 0 minus infinity.
I refill the void space of where they were
I refill the void space of where they were
with my creation, inspiration, and dreams.
with my creation, inspiration, and dreams.
All past lives
All past lives
in which I felt betrayal,
in which I felt betrayal,
heartbreak,
heartbreak,
or any other emotion that kept me away
or any other emotion that kept me away
from fully loving myself.
from fully loving myself.
I now remove them as signature frequency teachers
I now remove them as signature frequency teachers
of I ams of past lives.
of I ams of past lives.
I now replace them
I now replace them
with the I am lifetimes of love,
with the I am lifetimes of love,
joy, and happiness.
joy, and happiness.
I connect my sympathetic and parasympathetic
I connect my sympathetic and parasympathetic,
to my joyful lifetimes,
my joyful lifetimes,
where I was interactive,
where I was interactive,
an interpersonal communicator
an interpersonal communicator,
with no limitations to speak my authentic truth.
no limitations to speak my authentic truth.
I now acknowledge this
I now acknowledge this
in all dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes.
in all dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes.
Every memory from this lifetime
Every memory from this lifetime
in which I feared speaking,
in which I feared speaking,
I now transmute that energy of memory
I now transmute that energy of memory
to creation, inspiration, and dreams.
to creation, inspiration, and dreams.
I remove the negative charge and polarity
I remove the negative charge and polarity
that the sympathetic and parasympathetic used
that the sympathetic and parasympathetic used
to confuse me.
to confuse me.
I am no longer in confusion.
I am no longer in confusion.
I am in my heart space truth,
I am in my heart space truth,
being my authentic self.
being my authentic self.
I now choose this as a moment of victory
I now choose this as a moment of victory
and spread it to all versions of myself.
and spread it to all versions of myself.
I focus upon the future.
I focus upon the future.
In the next setting, I need to speak
The next setting I need to speak
and call upon the power of this moment of now
and call upon the power of this moment of now
to leapfrog into that future,
to leapfrog into that future,
to enter my I am presence
to enter my I am presence
as authentic self-awareness,
as authentic self-awareness,
shattering the illusions
shattering the illusions,
in the empathic overload,
the empathic overload,
so I may be fully present.
so I may be fully present.
All future scenarios
All future scenarios
in which I must have to speak,
in which I must have to speak,
I simply call upon this moment of now
simply call upon this moment of now,
to leapfrog forward in time
leapfrog forward in time.
with all these words I have said,
All these words I have said,
for I am the healed healer,
for I am the healed healer,
taking up the legacy of myself,
taking up the legacy of myself,
so I may teach the future generations
that I may teach the future generations
of what courage is needed
what courage is needed
to heal the self.
to heal the self.
Aho. Okay, what were you feeling?
Pardon?
What were you feeling during that?
Oh, quite a bit of relief. Yeah, it's gone now.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay. Now it's a good idea after this recording goes up, you go back and listen to it, possibly even write it down and do it again for yourself. And when you do find yourself in that next scenario, call upon these moments, because the whole blueprint of what's going on, you have two programs running. Your sympathetic, which is access to your empathy, and your parasympathetic, which is using precognition to confuse your empathy. And it's always overwhelming you even before you get into a scenario.
Yeah.
Okay? It also means you're a super powerful psychic, and you're, so overwhelmed by the outer processes, you have limited your psychic abilities greatly, 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 by not being public, by not being able to share your authentic self. What do you do
I've never really had any. I'm a stay-at-home mum.
Yeah? How long you been doing that for?
13 years.
What did you do before that?
I was in administration for about 20 years. I was like a legal secretary, personal assistant.
Uh-huh. Do you miss it?
But I've never really had any psychic abilities.
You were born.
No, I don't miss it.
You were born with them. You just don't recognize them. Okay, one of the reasons you have a hard time going out in public is when your children were growing up, and your husband of that era had some very confused ideas of what a woman should do, how a woman should act, and it impressed upon you a homeliness of being a good mother, but it took away your zeal, drive, and vigor to be a woman who wasn't a mother 24/7, 365, where there's an equal partner in the relationship. You don't have an equal partner in the relationship. Okay. Did he really help raise his kids, honestly?
Well, he was at work a fair bit. Now I have a situation where I have to homeschool my eldest because she's having a lot of problems at high school. So, I feel like I'm stuck with doing that for the next 3 years before I have a chance to be able to do anything for myself.
Mm-hmm. Why is he being homeschooled?
She was having a lot of bullying at school and had gone on for quite a few years, and eventually we decided to take her out because we just couldn't stand the drama and the stress anymore.
Uh-huh.
And she refuses to go back to school. So,
how old is she?
She's 13.
You ever thought about putting her in private school?
Yeah, we tried that for one term, and she wouldn't do that either. And we couldn't really afford it anyway.
So is it fair to say that she's not being agreeable in any way, shape, or form?
Well, she's pretty much been a drama queen for most of her life, and she creates a lot of dramas in the household, which are very hard to live with.
So I'm gonna be blunt. She's haunted as hell. Many ghosts are playing her strings. Many ghosts are playing her strings. You've just described a classic, puppetry entity, one that's trying to run and rule and own the house and drain energy from everyone to make themselves the center of attention.
Yep, sounds like her.
Okay. Now,
yep.
You are, as I said earlier, you are a powerful psychic being who's gone through the suppression process. That entity has affected you too. So have you ever heard me talk about the staging of the home and the protecting of the four corners of the property?
I did the staging once, and I did used to use some crystals, but I started to get haunted by these demon faces.
Because you didn't do it enough. You didn't do it enough, and you didn't do it with enough power. And if right away you're getting haunted with the demon faces just from staging, that should tell you got to do it more and more and more. Think of it like a floor that's got mud all over it, and you wouldn't leave a muddy floor for weeks in a row, would you, in your home?
No.
That's the same equivalency. When it's getting that high, when that much energy is feeding back to you, this is where you've got to get I am serious. There are a whole slew of contract revocations right on the front page of the website under the Insights tab. There's 7 of them there. Print all those out, grab a number of sage wands, turn off all the smoke detectors, and smoke that house out until you can barely see 10 feet away from you. And be using those contract revocations with power to say, get the hell out. This is your reality. Yeah. Just as if you were cleaning your home, you would not let somebody leave their underwear by the front door.
Would a crystal spray have the same effect as sage?
So it can have the same effect, but it's about the length of time in which you are investing your out loud words to each area and space. So what I suggest is you print out the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and the shaman's death and the consciousness strike. So that should take you about an hour to read out all of those documents. And if you take that solid hour to read a little bit to each space, each room of the house, make sure everyone gets out, and that you have at least a couple incense sticks going, you can fill up more. But if you have actual sage wands themselves, get 3 or 4. You have to smoke up the house serious when it's projecting that much at you right away just from trying to clean it up. It's like beehives, but they don't physically touch you. They come into your mind. And you've got to take out the mama's mop and clean everything out. So you seal all the windows up, You start your contract revocations. You have the sage going. When it gets too smoky for you in there, you go outside, you close the front door, you let everything finish smoking, then you open just the front door, and you watch the smoke come out. And if it's yellow and not pure white, if it's anything other than pure white, it's telling you how dirty that energy was. Now, just from the description of your daughter, I'm willing to bet it's going to come out like yellow and brown. And this is going to really change your daughter's emotions and energies, because she will not be able to call on the energy of entities to create drama. You could probably cut down 25 to 30% of her drama just by having one hell of a sage ceremony and reading those revocations out.
Right, okay.
The second part
She's
is
very hostile.
Oh yeah, and if you do it even more intently correct, you can do the four corners of the house, meaning you have four separate objects that you give another full hour of energy of all the revocations, and you place them in the four corners of the outside of your house. You will then create another barrier that stops more energy and entities from coming in and out. And then on top of that, you know your daughter, you can create another object that you just put inside her room under her bed where she doesn't even know. And all you put in that is the consciousness strike. Okay?
So what sort of object?
A crystal, a tiny one, a rock from your outside backyard.
Okay, yep.
Something that is taking your intent and saying to the energies of space, you cannot use and abuse my family members.
Okay.
Now, the next thing, you need personal body work. You need to get someone to come and do deep tissue on you. You are way, way too stressed out right now. So much of your energy is being limited because of the stress you're putting on yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
I can do that.
Yeah, you're looking at probably at least 3 to 4 deep tissue massages that will really, I mean, you're going to have your first one. You're going to realize how super tight your body is. It should not be that tight at all.
Yeah, I had one a couple of months ago. It was quite painful.
Yeah, and if it was that painful, it's telling you can't continue like that. Cannot continue like that. You will just do more harm to yourself.
Right.
All right, darling, I got to move on to the next caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Love to you.
Love to you too. Okay.
Bye.
Okay. So let me take a question from the chat room. So Nikki Greenfield, she has a question. I want to attend the live event, but my daughter is due to deliver a new family member October 16th. Since I do not want to miss the birth, can you tell me if the soul is going to come during the time between October 5th and 8th? No, the child is not going to come between October 5th and 8th, and it's probably not going to come the 16th. It looks closer to the 18th. So that is answering to that question. The next one. Healing, this caller has healed a big issue I had when I visited Australia. Wow, thank you. All right, question. What is... All right, so this is a kind of a really long question. What is it going on with these courts of equity? I am witnessing in the visitations I keep having of the ancestors from spiritual courts of equity. I basically discovered there are multiple courts of equity. I've noticed multiple different overlaying types of ancestral, celestial, royal, terrestrial, elemental, different kinds of earthly cosmic beings visiting and are welcoming their courts of universal equity. What are all these spiritual equities for? So you may find remedy and resolve. You aren't going to find instant remedy and resolve in a single spiritual court of equity. Each court of equity may have a different versions of soul families, more witnesses in it. Each is an aspect of contact and communication with you, so a part of your awareness of the volume and size of beings that are working with you through these spiritual courts of equity. And the more aware you come with them is where you can create the injunction power, the ability to say no, break contracts, vows, and agreements, summon other soul family members who are having the same problem with the same forced evolutionary system. So, Eric, there's the answer to that question. It is revealing more and more to you the layers of the unseen world that's working with you. All right, let's move on to our next caller.
Okay, our next caller is Jake from England.
Jake from England, how you doing today?
I'm doing so well, Andrew. It's so great to speak with you again.
Yeah, it's been some
Yeah.
time, been a couple months. How's it been going for you?
It's been crazy, man. It's been amazing. Like just I can't describe. Like every day, I'm just transforming and getting new perspectives and insights. And yeah, like the opening prayer that you initiated this with really summed up everything that I'm currently experiencing at the moment in terms of hope and also with the previous call with Melissa with the parasympathetic and sympathetic programs and precognition over empathy, that kind of work. But yeah, it's been a great year, but also very, very tough at the same time. So
Yes, I know.
yeah,
It's been a rather rough year for me too. But you got to keep on trucking. You got to keep on moving.
yeah, exactly. And you know, we're all here helping each other out, and it's yeah, abundance is coming. So
Yes. You
I'm
gonna be able to come?
definitely
You gonna
yeah.
be able to come to the event?
Um, I don't think financially I'll be able to, but I keep my fingers crossed and maybe something will happen. I'm not gonna, you know, put any expectations on the future, but yeah, I'd love to come. But yeah, right now I'm really focusing on, you know, manifesting abundance and yeah, money. And that's actually one of the things I wanted to ask you about today was I've you know, this month, September, is going to be when I'm fully going to put myself out there and start making content and really taking the next step into my own processes. And something has come up regarding my sense of self and my perception and the scale and size in which I'm going to be working at. One of the things that I'm struggling to deal with is being typecast or labeled or having projections of others put onto me about who I am by being a quote unquote spiritual being or a light worker or part of the conspiracy industry. And I was wondering what your perspective is on that and whether I should
You should be
be open and
unconscious.
say,
You should be on full on consciousness strike. Anything that's trying to project to you conformity is the puritanical light worker grandmothers saying conform or we're going to beat you up. Over the last few weeks, I have been describing exactly how to get out of what you're in. I've been saying over and over again that the whole industry is now putting everything into one mega industry. What was a little conspiracy industry is now a consciousness, spirituality, conspiracy, and self-help. They've all become one industry, one genre. And that's the pigeonhole. That's what you'd be finding yourself typecast as. Because people will only present you the way they think, when in fact it's you branding yourself, not giving a flying fuck what the grandmothers out there think, the puritanical light workers who say you can only be a vegetarian, a spiritual person. Okay? Shove off. Okay? Tell them to go piss in a can somewhere else. Pull up your little litany of British words that, you know, tell them to piss off. Those are projections. Okay? Defeminate and demasculate the projections that say you have to be a little fairy boy to be spiritual.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Right.
That's
It
so
is
true.
those puritanical yoga women, I'm using that as a metaphor, who are trying to define to an whole industry how it should act. Fuck them. They don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. They're stuck in their one little practice. Okay? And when I say that term,
Exactly.
I learned that from my grandmother. Okay? She was 87 years old and would go all the time saying, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. So many light workers are like that. They honestly don't know their own ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to how to be them authentic self. Because they take on the projections of everyone else and they play a part, a role, never authentically themselves. And that's what you're saying. I don't want to put on a mask, and I don't want to play a part or a role. I want to be.
Exactly. But that's the issue is, for instance, I would love to do work with you and many other spiritual teachers, but I also want to do entrepreneurial work and self-help for the masses so I can bridge the gap for people who are, beginning to awaken.
And that's the
And,
bullshit line you
may
keep,
have their...
no, that's the bullshit line you keep feeding yourself. You will never get the groups in mediocrity to stop projection conformity to you. Your target market is those that are already out of mediocrity. And that's where you got to begin your writings. If you can't get my simple definition, piss off. I'm using the colorful euphemisms for the show for a reason. Because you're at a point where you need to say piss off to the projections. Okay?
Exactly.
Okay? And send them back. Shatter the illusions that allows you to accept them. You are not a puppet. You are not a Muppet with a hand up your ass saying you have to be this way. You are Jake. Hear yourself roar. Meow. Is it a meow or a roar? Okay?
Ooh, wow. Ooh,
Now you're at a point where, man, I don't have to worry about the stupid, mediocre masses anymore. Let me focus on the people that have already figured out how to be somewhat successful, market to them, because they're the ones that are going to buy, because all the other ones stuck in mediocrity will never give themselves 3 seconds to truly practice what I'm saying. They're drive-by listeners.
Exactly.
Okay?
But the belief that I was having was that my skill set, the ability to connect the dots, was like is that is the skill set, as well as the sound healing and the other skill sets I have. It's okay. And now the tangent has just gone off, so
it's okay.
It's probably not important.
No, it is. Keep going.
Oh no, it just completely went.
It's gone.
No,
Divine forgetting. Divine forgetfulness.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, one of the now I'm really just working on getting the business structure in place, putting a business plan together, and just doing the due diligence. And one of the amazing things I would love to say about doing the practice and sacred discipline, I've actually consciously comprehended and understood what it actually is and means to actually not emulate something but emanate it.
Beautiful.
And for instance, the advanced heart meditation that you gave out and the living the mystical life daily, one thing that I find is many people think that they have to do a certain methodology or technique, and that's going to be that's the instant gratification answer to everything.
Yep.
Right, and that can be to anything. And when I finally did your meditation only the other day properly and for myself as self-healing and self-nurturing, oh my God, it was like when I cleared my pericardium of the pain, it was just like, but yeah, that lesson and understanding, I just wanted to share.
Thank you. Because we are trying to teach self-illumination. The Living the Mystical Life Daily is a blueprint to self-illumination. And you can use and apply it where you need, because it's the a la carte, name it to claim it system. What you need in the moment works for you. And the way you truly said it, I did it truly for my own self-healing and my own self-nurturing, and not as a repetition practice that I'll eventually get. You put your authentic self in. You still to piss off to all the projections long enough for you to do it. And look what you got.
Yeah. Can't wait to do the other ones now properly as well. So
right.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wow, look at that. Inspiration, the desire to go and do more.
Exactly. It's the ever upward spiral of abundance and co-creation and inspiration, creation, and dreams, like you say. That's it. And
that's right.
And another thing that I realized the other day was just the importance of personal boundaries in everything. I mean, it's so vitally important. Like just with my energy, just feeling these projections from everything and everyone around me in my environment, which is, you know, highly toxic at the moment. And yeah, I finally was able to say no, and it just went away immediately. All that stress, all that tension went away, and bam, the inspiration was there. Everything came, and I was like, okay, I'm back on the path. So yeah, I just wanted to share that too.
That's
But
beautiful.
one of the things I also wanted to ask about was, there's a girl that I was infatuated with 4 or 5 years ago. That's come back into my life, and she was a catalyst, the main catalyst for me leaving school. And I want to have some closure as to whether this is hope or you know, false synchronicity, or what this is, because it's kind of thrown me off track a bit. So what do you see regarding that?
How old is this person?
She's 22.
And are you still infatuated with her?
On some level, yeah.
So when she came back into your life, what did it feel like?
Right now I don't know, because I'm kind of confused, but
Go
I
back
know
into
that
the no. Go back into
my
the
sexuality.
no. Go back into the moment where you first realize she's back into my life. Be in your body and not out of your body. Force yourself into your body. Don't allow your programs to kick you out of the past. It's your fucking memory. Tell the parasympathetic and sympathetic to piss off. Be in the body of that moment where you realize she's back in my life. Okay? There's a whole string of information there that you got to use hindsight for. I'll get past all the paranoia programs, okay? And go, what do I empath and feel from her?
I feel excitement.
Okay? Do you feel love?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? Now go into your heart of that past and make that heart glow really bright and separate what is lust from love.
Oh, okay. Oh, bloody hell.
Okay? Allow the separation of densities of lust to love. What are you seeing there? What are you feeling there?
Oh, it's tough. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay.
All right. All that male energy is pushing you, trying to push you out, isn't it? All that lust energy doesn't want the future self back in to see its little plan.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to re-listen to that.
Yes.
That phrase, 'cause, yeah.
A good amount of it is lust. A good amount of it is lust. Not all of it. Yeah? When you go back with hindsight, you're going to have to get in there as the male warrior and tell the old male lustful warrior, hey, your time is done. You're no longer the moment of now. There's where you'll find your clarity of why she's really back in your life. Okay?
Okay.
Okay? When she left the last time, you didn't really have closure, did you?
No.
No. Okay? You're also beginning another opportunity of closure of the old, and is there new potential? Okay?
Yeah.
That's healing the old wound, so the old wound can no longer project into your future.
Yeah.
Okay? That's your legacy to yourself, to stop all the old projections from having any power over you in the now. Gets back to the beginning. Tell them to piss off. They have no power. Claim it back from them. And all those other British swear words that you got that you can use. Even if you got to break into some pikey lines.
Yeah. Some British slang, some Cockney rhyming slang.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's crazy. Shaman's death, man. Wow. It's
Uh,
every day. Every day.
when one chooses to live the
um,
shaman's life death daily, it's the greatest gift they can give themselves on their sacred journey. Because we are regularly looking at the old shells and knowing when we need them and when we don't need them. And how to create new shells in the moments that help us go through the tidal waves and avalanches of other people's bullshit.
yeah. But it's really affected my trust in people. I mean, yeah, that's one of the issues I'm dealing with as well is trusting people. Like I try and do everything by myself, and I know that's a zealot program, or maybe a martyr program as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at that stage where, you know, I need to let people in. I need to make new connections and create this new life for myself. And um, wow, there's a lot of shaking. Okay.
Let me help you understand why you're shaking. Your adrenal glands are overactive right now. And like the other caller, something in you is still allowing your sympathetic and parasympathetic access to your false precognition process, as well as overwhelming empathy. And I kind of want you to just see in your third eye all of these webs around it that are beyond sight. So your third eye is a culmination of all the other senses. Your third eye hears, your third eye sees, your third eye touches, tastes, so on and so forth. So you have a third ear here scenario. So I want you to imagine your two ears creating a third ear that is just below your third eye, that is not directly connected to your third eye for this process. And understand your sympathetic and parasympathetic are at a tug of war between the two ears, one trying to use empathy and the other trying to use precognition to confuse you, the I am, of what the potential future is. Instead of being in virtually no thought, so you can superluminally go between the two processes. There's a webbing there that connects to your sympathetic and parasympathetic directly in your C2 and C1, your atlas and axis, which is telling the rest of your body that there's much more signal frequency in what you're telling, what's coming into the brain from the body, which is the instrument of your experience, which is like a big TV station broadcasting and receiving other people's messages. Their receiving of other people's messages is amplified right at your ears through empathy, not through the hearing. You're hearing their feelings even before they're in the room. That is what this parasympathetic is doing by allowing precognition to empath a moment that's not even a moment yet.
Wow.
All right. Many people have this going on in their lives because instant gratification has overwhelmed our senses so much. So it'd be a very good idea for you to visualize that you have a third ear and begin to do healing solely on that. And then reintegrate the third ear back into the third eye. You can do it with your taste, your smell, all of your senses can be individualized into that third eye, third taste, third touch expression, and then reintegrate it back into your third eye. So the sympathetic and parasympathetic cannot use emotional empathetic overloading and false precognition, or giving precognition to a moment that's not even happened in potential yet.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll go back, listen to that, and definitely be applying that. Can't wait. That's going to be amazing. Um, is that why my sleep has been so bad? Because like I get so excited like with the possibilities and potentials that my sleep has been. I mean, well,
Your
back in
sleep,
May, for instance.
your sleep is off because your adrenal glands are overloaded. You have been living in survival mode and not thriving mode for long enough. Also, you're not processing protein right. So, all the stress you've been under is affecting you at the gut level, which is giving you sleeplessness right now because you're trying to live the awake dream during the day and not allowing your body to settle down and go into actual delta dream sleep at night. Many, many, many people who are on the verge of great changes make that habit pattern that eventually makes an issue because you want to have the living dream. You want to do it now. Well, you got to sleep, rest, and recuperate, and allow your infinite dreaming self to manage your unseen world so your seen world's so much easier.
Yeah.
Okay?
But my fear is that there's so many different frequencies that I'm tuning into that it's like I'm afraid that I might be taken off track from the single.
That's your
But
sympathetic
there's other.
using precognition and empathy of a moment. I'll be off track. Tell it to piss off. Deconstruct that shadow.
Okay.
Knock down that house of cards right now. That is a perfect example of precognition of empathy of a fake moment.
Oh, awesome. Nice.
Okay?
Yeah. Wow.
There's some other choice British slang that can be used there too. And you may want to write a piss off revocation to all of those projections, as well as to the sympathetic and parasympathetic, saying you can't do that to me.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
It really needs to pop
Allow
off.
the comedy
Yeah.
into it, because that is one of the greatest ways of depolarizing our programs and converting them into something positive.
Yeah. And what about the my thoracic? There's like I got like an issue with like the heart. I think the heart connection to like one of the thoracic vertebrae. Like there was like whenever I lie down, like I feel this sort of tension there or something.
That's because
I think it's
your actual fascia around your pericardium and heart is way too tight. Way, way, way too tight. That's why when you just recently did the heart meditation the full way, you had a big release. If you were to do it the full way, like you just expressed, twice a day for the next 4 days, not only will you eliminate that process, but you'll expand manyfold. And in fact, I can make this 3-day challenge to anyone that's out there. If you authentically do the advanced heart meditation just the way Jake said, for yourself, by yourself, with no other process involved, strictly as a gift of self-healing and self-nurturing, twice a day, 3 days in a row, with the focus on the heart and the specificness of what's in that meditation, you will have a mystical experience. You will, if you truly give it the effort. Jake, what did you get when you got the effort, when you put the effort in?
I was transformed.
Okay. What
I
about
was
the other ones that you've used over the last year, since you came to the event last year?
Well, I mean, I've dabbled in the sanctuary for all souls. I mean, I do need to go back and do that properly. And for the record, I also want to just say, with the name it to claim it system, that I'm completely shutting down all unoccupied and occupied dream spaces, fantasies, and anything of that sort. So I wanted to say that live on there, so that
Yeah, because you took the knowledge out of the dream world clearing and applied it to your daily practice. That is exactly what living the mystical life daily. There's a smorgasbord of practices through all of the teachings for you to apply in the moment that you need them, and that a la carte immediate moment I need to clear the dream world out because somebody came back into my life that I totally forgot I had all these fantasies about.
Oh yeah, caught red-handed.
Exactly. And then right away, the sympathetic goes, oh, emotions, lust. And the parasympathetic goes, I'm using precognition and putting you in a date scenario already. And then you're nervous about a future that hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah. Wow. It's so deep, but it's manageable. You know, when you comprehend and understand it, it's like, you know, it's like brushing your teeth, or you know, it's what you do. It's just part of your hygiene, spiritual hygiene, like you say.
So how have you been eating late? So how have you been eating? What have you really been eating? Let's be honest, brutal honest with your food.
Yeah, I've been really shitty with my food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you now can reached a point where you can't be shitty with your food anymore. Your body's in survival mode, meaning it hasn't had 40 grams of protein a day for over 6 months. And it's now in a scenario where it's in survival mode. And most of your food you're actually not even processing as it goes through your intestinal tract. You're maybe getting 30% and you're eating your muscle and then using whatever you can do from your instant food process and then growing fat and burning fat. So your metabolism is off. You need to make sure you're getting 40 grams of protein daily for at least 19 to 20 days straight. The best way to do that is have protein bars, protein shakes, 20 in the morning, 20 in the evening, or 40 in the morning and have some additional meals. It's not really about eating healthy for you right now. It's just about eating. And if you end up having to put on 5 pounds of fat, that's the price to get out of survival mode. Because once you're out of survival mode, your sacred discipline will be 10,000 times more exacting perfect.
Nice.
Okay?
And that'll be a victory, so that the doubt that the precognition won't come back and that there won't be a false synchronicity.
Correct.
Right? So,
correct. Now that you got the next little piece to the puzzle here for you to use hindsight with.
Perfect.
Yeah, hindsight without precognition through those parasympathetic. That's where another place people really get tripped up. Hindsight is not precognition. Foresight is not precognition either. Hindsight and foresight are its own individuated experiences, separate of the sympathetic and parasympathetic. It is the I am's experience. Hindsight and foresight isn't a program either. It's a state of being. It's an emanation.
Yeah.
And one can
and
be
that can be done.
right.
Sorry.
And that can be done simultaneously. You can be in hindsight and have instant foresight.
Yeah. And that's by reclaiming memories, right? I mean, telling the story to the fire would be another
vital,
that, right?
Right, because then you build actual synaptic nerve pathways and positive sympathetic connections to who you are, what you are, the emotion of your story told and retold over perfect sacred moments in which those memories mean something, and that is how you out-compete and out-create the programs and projections of others. By making your memories more relevant than the projections of others. It's the battle for relevancy in the self without being selfish. That's why we make them victory ceremonies. Our trials and tribulations, and now I can say the story of what the hell I went through, and look where I'm at now. It didn't kill me, and I am getting stronger.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Preach, brother.
That's right. Power to the people.
I'm your Lord and Savior.
Exactly. Praise Jesus.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions you want to ask, Jake?
I guess the last question really is, I don't know. It's hard to say. What would you recommend my next step being business-wise to really like explode onto the scene? Or do you think that's instant gratification? Oh yeah, do you think I'm being impatient, like, or instantly gratifying by expecting myself to be somewhere where I'm not right now?
All right, I'm gonna do a little word salad game with you. What is the difference between the word impatient and impudent?
Oh, I've never heard that word before. I might just have to quickly look in Google.
Google it if you can do it right now. Impudent. I ask everyone to do that. Impatient and impudent.
Ooh. That doesn't look very nice.
Nope. Go ahead and read it out for everyone if you got it up there.
Not showing due respect for another person.
Okay. Impudent.
Yeah.
Okay. You are in the fine line between being impatient with yourself and impudent with yourself. not giving yourself the full respect, as well as others. This is the fine line of the old Jake who used a bit of spiritual arrogancy to get through his trials and tribulations, to the new Jake who has to be authentic every moment and knows that you have all these arrogant idiots that are around you that are projecting arrogance at you, and you're trying to go forward not conforming to what they say and not doing it arrogantly. No matter what you're going to do, they're going to project arrogance at you. You just have to be authentically enough to say, no, I'm not arrogant. That is your projected version with inside your own self, so you don't become a signature frequency match for arrogance or impudence.
Perfect.
Okay? So that is the blockage right now. So what are you actually doing to earn income right now?
I'm mainly doing one-on-one sessions and group classes, like sound baths.
Okay.
But again, I got to be more consistent and promote a lot more, and so yeah.
And that's the only thing you're doing right now to earn
I
cash.
should be doing a lot more. Yeah.
Okay.
I need to. Yeah. I put all my eggs in one basket with this, and thought, I should just.
Right, and because you were taking eggs out of one basket and putting them back into the other basket and doing your egg shuffling process the last couple months, you came up short, a couple short on the dozen. All right, let me look a second. So, what are you doing to advertise yourself?
Well, I'm writing blogs and going to post them on different empath groups on Facebook. I'm part of a complementary medical association as well, and I pay a fee for that, which comes out of my allowance. And what else am I doing? I'm making YouTube videos, so I'm doing YouTube videos, and
Yeah,
I'm
but are they
looking to expand
making?
that by,
Are they turning to make you into clients and money?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. So the answer is most of that time is not going to pay you back. So you gotta cut off that stuff and actually go to paper and start papering your local neighborhood, local gathering places, print out flyers that give bookings and sessions via Skype or so on and so forth. And you got to adjust the price so you can make some quick cash. So the price of one ream of 500 paper will pay itself back 50-fold. Okay? And you got to get on every bus, go to every corner of your town. Literally paper everywhere, just like people used to do in the old days. Okay? You have some YouTube in place, so you can put a website or something they can go to get further information. Really simplify it, but start printing paper and flyers out and start passing it around.
Okay.
Or you put a coupon,
Right, yeah.
Buy one, get one free, or come to a group sound healing, something. Okay?
Perfect. Yeah.
So cut off the other stuff and start papering. Channel your old paperboy self.
Nice. Yeah, I should have done a paper route when I was younger. I'll do it now. But no better time to start than now. So, the ever-present moment of now. So
That's right.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Thanks a lot,
yeah,
Jake.
thank you,
I got to move on to the next caller. You were really a special teacher to a lot of people in the chat room. Thank you so much for calling. I look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, me too. Thank you very much.
I'm giving you some positive energy so you can get that abundance flowing.
Oh, yeah. Yay. Thank you, man. No, really,
all right,
thank
take
you for
it easy.
everything. So grateful. Cheers. Bye.
All right, for all of you that are listening, there is another testimony from a person doing Living the Mystical Life Daily. Been doing it since last year's event and has gotten himself going and moving. All right, let's move on to the next caller. Avatar from Israel. It has been a little time since I've spoken to you.
Yeah, it's true, Andrew. I'm very excited.
How are you doing today?
Sorry?
How are you doing today?
Well, I'm hardly slept all night, waiting for the early morning to join the call.
What's it? 3 o'clock?
Uh,
3 o'clock in the morning? 4 o'clock in the morning for you?
no, it started at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah,
5 a.m. Yeah.
5 a.m.
Yeah. So, what questions do you want to ask today?
Well, I'll start with something that, in a way, you spoke with Jake, a matter of the heart. I'm living by myself many, many years by now. And just with the eclipse, a man called me in a very special synchronicity. It's a man that I know from years ago. We've been together in some Force Evolution society. And it seems that it might be something big, but I'm not sure about it. My heart told me, even before I met him again, that it is something special. But by meeting him, I'm not so sure about it. And I wonder if you can consult me if it's just a friendship or it's something that we should actually take more seriously.
Okay. What year was he born, or how old is he? And I need his first name.
Yeah, his name is Carlos, and he was born on 27 July 1943, so he's about 74 now.
Okay.
And I'm born on the 10th of April 53.
All
I'm
right. Just
64. We are 10 years apart.
let me just tune in a little bit. Now, there is a lot of high potential energy between the two of you. Has he lost a wife recently, or daughter of someone very close to him?
And no, he was divorced twice, but many years ago.
All right, there's some type of death in the family energy that's still affecting him.
Maybe it's mother.
Yeah, it's his mother, I think. It's one of those things. It's still affecting him. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I do believe there is potentiality between the two of you, though it's going to be this dance around beating the bush of till you just, get down to that raw brass tacks moment and you say what you want. Or it's going to be the dance of beating around the bush, the two of you. Because he's beating around the bush because he doesn't know if he should make a move or not make the move because he's in his 70s. He's got his own confusion about this. And then you're the same way. I'm going to beat around the bush and wait to see if he'll do it. Well, I'm going to tell you.
No, we already met, and we are already inside the relationship. It went very, very fast, actually.
Yes. But you got to stop beating
Yes.
around the bush and take it to the next level.
Most of us are very, very clear and very direct.
Yeah.
I'm just confusing myself. Maybe my programmings tell me, no, it's not it's not the man for you.
Right. And you can tell the programs he's Mr. Right Now. That's all that matters.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's funny, but I had a counseling with Katie Ma about a year and a half ago. And she told me that in 3 to 4 years, I will meet a person which will be just right for me without doing anything about it. And it just happened now. So I thought maybe the eclipse.
Oh yeah, Eclipse cleared out a lot of very negative frequencies. So a lot of those people looking for the twin flame energy, it's a little easier now than it was before the eclipse.
Yeah, that's what I felt. Yeah. Okay, great. So the next question is about my cat. I have a cat, a white cat, that came to me when he was really three weeks old, and he's very, very sensitive. And he has some autoimmune disease for a few years now, which I need to give him some medication to, I don't know the word, but anyway, I wonder what he reflects, if he's reflecting something to me, and if I can get him out of medication because he doesn't do him good.
How old is the cat?
He's about 5 and a few months.
What is his name?
Joy.
All right, let me tune into him. All right, this is a very talkative cat.
Yeah, he is.
He's a really talkative cat. So his autoimmune disease is not a reflection on you. It is a reflection of his own lineage. Though
Uh-huh.
you do have some matching energy. And what it is because he's in the autoimmune energy, he can absorb it out of you, and that's part of his contract of living with you is to do healing on you. So I think the greatest thing you can do is begin to engage your healing skills to just make him comfort of life, extension of life, bringing joy and happiness to his spinal column, to get him to purr when you're able to holding him. So he's doing his job. As for curing this particular scenario, this is a lineage issue of inbreeding. So unless you're going to start doing really advanced cat DNA psychic surgery, it's going to be kind of hard. You got to go like 20 generations in the past to stop the inbreeding that has created this autoimmune disease.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I mean, you can do it. You can. It's not exactly that hard, but you got to engage the cat and go back to its previous litter, previous litters before that, and previous litters before that. A lot of times, cats are hussies. They don't just do it with one. Sometimes they'll do it with three and the four, and that's why they could have a litter could have 4 donors to it.
Uh-huh. Okay. I don't know how to do it, so
It would be seeing your cat in the womb with all of the other litter mates. 21 generations back. You basically got to go back to this last generation where he was born and clear out the ancestral connections that has created the autoimmune disease. And you clean it out in your cat and all the other cats in that womb. Then you go to the womb before that and the womb before that, each generation going back, clearing out the autoimmune disease so that this cat has the potential to heal it and not to empath and take it on as DNA.
Right. Right. Well, I had the impression from him that now that I'm having a relationship, as if he wants to free the space. I'm not sure about it, but I had this feeling that he has some kind of a feeling that he already did his job and want to just now enter from outside when I'm speaking about him.
Nah, he's just giving you your space. He's a cat. Don't worry.
Right.
He's a cat.
Okay.
They're odd beings.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Give him some extra catnip.
Sorry?
Give him some extra catnip.
Ah, right. Yeah, getting a lot.
He's got a little cat. He's got a little catnip problem.
His sister as well with me.
Yeah.
She's very, very healthy, and she's more like a tiger.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll ask about my mother. My mother is just now was in the eclipse itself was 89 years old, and she's very young at heart, but I has some feeling that she's starting to get tired from life. And I wonder how can I make it easier for her. I don't know if she's going to cross over soon or few years, but I have a feeling that I can help her making some resolution with herself, or when she'll cross over, how can I help her actually to cross over if I can?
What year was she born?
1928.
And did you say she's already passed, or is that what you were saying before?
No, she didn't pass. No, she
didn't
just had a birthday in the eclipse day, 21st of August.
Let me tune in. You want to know what to do? So as I'm tuning into her, there is a frequency that's missing from her. It's like she creates joy and happiness, but it just doesn't have the same power behind it like it used to.
Mm-hmm.
Have you do you guys ever have like family reunions where everyone gets together for a big party that isn't religious?
Yeah, well, we are not religious people. We just met for a birthday, and we will meet in the beginning of the year, which is a religious, but we are not religious. We're just
If you really
coming and eating.
if you really want to help her, actually
Yeah.
start organizing a family get together that's not religious. That's like a family barbecue where you all get together, where all the little kids can be around, everyone, all the cousins from other areas.
We are just myself, my sister, and my her husband. We don't have kids and all the rest of it.
Yeah, but there are
We
other
are very
relatives of other cousins from other structures that you haven't seen in years.
all right. Okay.
So
Okay.
that is the best thing you can do for her now.
Right.
Reminder out there who's still living, the lineages that are still going on.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wonder why both myself and my sister doesn't have kids. I thought it might be related to my father, that all his family was killed in the Holocaust, and maybe it's influenced us in some kind of way.
Well, you chose not to have kids this lifetime, and so did your sister. That's why.
Right.
It's all choice.
Yeah.
All choice,
Right.
choice, 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 choice. And no other reason.
Okay.
At
Right.
any time, you could have settled for something that was, Mr. Right Now and had kids and gone on and been a soccer mom, even to this day, but you said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to marry
Yeah.
something and I have kids with something I don't want.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay? That's why you did it.
Yeah. Okay. Last time I have a private session with you, you told me that unless my mother wanted me born to be here with her, I wouldn't make it to be born on Earth now. And
Yep.
I didn't have the time to ask you why you said it.
I
You
can't
told
do
me,
that. I can't do that over public radio. It's a
right,
little
right,
too private just for you.
okay,
Okay.
okay. And so another thing that happened last time we spoke, you told me to go to some kind of a meeting, which I didn't know yet what it is going to be. It was to do with business. And I actually did start a new business because of it. But I'm still a bit divided in myself. If it's okay for me to put most of my energy in trying to make some living in the future from this, or put more of my energy into the things that I want to do to help people, or to help myself and to help people via counseling and healing and so forth. I'm a bit divided in myself, so I feel neither is going as well as it should be. In a way, what is my priority now? Because I don't have any money at all, almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're still in the same scenario before, where what you were trying to do before is not actually making any money. And in your other session, it was because you were liking the products but not actually making the money off of it. It would still put you in a situation where you're not even fully understanding the manifestation process. Too much of you is in, I want to be the light worker, and part of you is still martyring yourself to be the light worker and who hasn't gone out and got a regular job to validate the light worker side. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? At any moment in time, you could have gone out and got a job at a local bakery someplace, but there's a part of you said, no, I won't do that because people will look down at me at the work that I want to do.
Well, I prefer to work with people because this is the best thing I can do and earn a bit more money. But I'm a bit sucking about the actually doing the things for people to know about me. And I'm putting quite a lot of effort on the new venture, which is very promising, but it's just a startup. So even if I can earn already a lot of money in it, it will take some
That's
time
living.
for the.
That's living with hope, darling. You're trying to control a future that isn't solidified yet.
Right, right.
Okay.
So you tell me just, for example, to go and work with kids, to be some kind of a nanny, is it suiting to me?
I will go and say maybe go and find a job at a local bakery, something that gets you out of the house and gives you a little bit extra cash in your position, in your job, and maybe one day here, one day there, 2 days there. If you want to do the nanny thing, you can try it. I think the nannying will burn you out really too fast.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're at a point where you have no money because you chose over the last 6 months to not do anything to make sure you didn't run to a point where you have no money. You've been in this point in your life many times before.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a suck it up, buttercup moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can't live on hope anymore. Cannot live on hope
Right.
anymore. There's where you'll begin to make actionable outcome. Okay. Now, you're not going to give up on the business venture. It's still something you put your time, effort, and energy in. But you still need to be
Mm-hmm.
able to have money for the next month, the next. You got to be able to eat. You got to pay your insurance, so on and so forth. Got to be able to have funding so you can do your new projects.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So you to actually find some job. Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yep. So that it can
Great.
remind you of the confidence that you need to have in yourself so you can go to that next level of abundance.
Okay. Yeah. For example, although I didn't have the money to actually buy the course, but I thought to myself, maybe it's not the right time for me to concentrate on living the mystical life daily if I need, first of all, to take care of my basic, but maybe I'm wrong about it. Maybe I can do it both together. It's not that I'm not doing anything with my life as well spiritually, but I'm not putting a lot of concentration on my mystical life, more on trying to actually be more practical.
All right. I would say to you, if you are able to swing it with the money, enroll in the course and start practicing it. Okay, that is
Mm-hmm.
going to give you the confidence and the discerning skills to see what's right in front of you as new sets of choices and processes.
Right.
Okay, it's a 6 week course
Okay.
for a reason, so I don't
I'm
overwhelm
sure.
people. Right? There's
Oh,
so much material in each and every week for you to practice on your own. Okay, and in dozens of little things in there that are coping skills that you can take for whatever scenario you need, like with the last caller, Jake. Every one of the
mm-hmm.
teachings has little tidbits of information that you can add to the a la carte system of what you need in the moment.
Right.
Okay? Start applying
All
yourself
right.
to it. You know,
Okay.
you can get out there and get another. It's not a meaningless job or trivial job, and you'll probably notice little programs that come up in yourself that are devaluating or devaluation of yourself. No, you're doing it because you know you got to survive. And yes, the economy is tight right now. And until you get the right style of marketing, until you're able to truly promote yourself the way that you want to with the knowledge behind it, you're going to be in this in between stage where it is very hard. Same thing that Jake is in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You got to
Okay.
get out there and paper your neighborhoods and a bunch of other neighborhoods if you really want to be able to earn some extra cash on that.
Right.
For the price of
Yeah.
one ream of paper and some ink cartridges.
Mhm. Okay. Although nowadays in Israel, it's not so much going this kind of paperwork. It's more, I really want to start my, although you suggested to me to do a audio, I started already some video and I start to get some, although I feel that I need some help, more professional help to actually guide me step by step,
That's why
because I know about.
this is what I'm suggesting is you take the course.
Okay, right.
Okay?
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
where you're at. You actioning.
All
You
right.
need to actionize yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And last thing, if I may, I know maybe it's not right now, but where did they came from to this earth
I don't
long
really
time
think I
ago?
don't really think that adding to this any of that to your frequency will do anything other than detract you from focus right now.
Okay.
You are at a point where you've had enough spiritual information, and it's where the rubber hits the road right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You've got to be action, action, action. It's not about the ephemeral information anymore. You have all this action in front of you. And some of your old selves were actioning old processes that aren't paying you back now. Old styles and habit patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So what I'm going to be doing now is playing a very special meditation that is meant to help people access their actionable outcomes. And this is called the Rainbow Meditation. So I want everyone to just sit back and relax a little bit. Avatar, thank you so much for calling. You have been a great, great teacher. And we're going to talk again. I look forward to seeing you in your course.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
You're welcome, darling. You have a great one. All right, everyone, I just want you to all sit back and relax, and we're going to play what is known as the Rainbow Meditation. I want you to try to hear these words and emanate, not emulate. Emanate these words. I want you to relax your body, mind, and spirit. I want you to be ready to enter a new state of being where happiness comes from the heart, where the sovereign soul has seated firmly in your throne of your heart, where the pericardium surrounds your soul with the fresh waters of life, where the nervous system is not tied into the brain but tied into the heart, the place where our spark of our soul first came. I want you to contemplate that and understand that it is from the heart in which we say everything. It is from the heart in which we do everything. But our world of separation puts us into the mind. And now I want you to eliminate the world of separation, because this is only a construct, a fraud reality created to keep you in a dream world. And now we are going to use your dreaming body in this dreaming world to dream you in another place, another time, another way of being, so we can begin to process who we are and what we are all throughout the various time streams and universes. So this process of deeply relaxing, focus upon your body. Close your eyes. Imagine a deep, soft, blue mist coming around your crown chakra and making a very soft whirlpool. And this soft whirlpool illuminates the left and the right side of the brain. And the left and the right brain become into communication. Multiple little strings reach across the left brain and the right brain, making anchor connections to all the different synapses of your life's path. Allow this spiraling blue mist, creating vortices of water, to go deep into every cellular part of your brain. And let it slowly expand so that all part of your skull and bones of your head are totally saturated in this blue mist. Let it envelop your third eye, your tongue, your nose, your eyes, your medulla, your neck, your chin, your jaw, your teeth, your taste buds, your throat, your epiglottis. Let this energy go down your neck, the straight spine that supports your skull, into your shoulders, into your scapula, down into your trapezoids and elbows, and out your hands. Let it go into your chest and fill every part of your lungs. As this blue mist reaches your sternum and goes to enter the pericardium, that which your seated sovereign power is in, glow your heart green and accept your spirit in. There is a rush of energy from your crown feeding the heart, and there's a downward pulling as literally your vision and your eyes close. Come to see your two eyes looking out your heart, front and back, omnidirectional sight. If it is but a just vague glimpse for you, let it be. And if there is no glimpse, simply let it be. Allow the heart to envelop in green energies this blue mist. The heart begins to act like a prism, expressing all 7 colors to everything that is at the breast level and above. Your entire bust is in the rainbow frequency. Multiple rainbow frequencies create multiple vortices, and these vortices assemble upon your spine, connect into your skull and your brain in perfect communication, and they send a message to the spot in your spine where your heart is. The heart is supported by the spine in all ways, shapes, and forms, and we are healing all damage on the back of the spine that disconnects us from our heart. Call your angelic beings in. Let your spinal column, from the top of your neck to the bottom of your tailbone, be flushed with rainbow energy. Let this rainbow energy create cocooning webs around your intestinal tract, cocooning webs around your internal organs, your spleen, gallbladder, large intestine, small intestine, stomach, liver, kidneys. Saturate them with a cocooning energy. See the webs of dreamtime go around them, thicker and thicker and thicker. Fill that with the rainbow colors. Into your pelvis, into your sacred masculine and feminine. Saturate your legs, your knees, your quads, your calves, your ankles, the tibia, fibia, all of the bones in your feet are rainbow frequencies, rainbow qualities. Let your legs glow in the rainbow frequency. Now that you've extended your awareness to your feet, ask all of your awareness come to the center of your heart. See out of your heart, front and back. This is where sovereignty begins. Whatever mechanical spiritual process you use to get to this level of awareness. Here is where we create all programs. Here is where we uncreate all programs. Here is where we allow ourselves to be in sacred space. Here is where everything can be healed, seen, perceived, and understood.